Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we're going to take a look at the new Dior Velvet Quint. So today is just going to be the blue one. We're going to focus on the blue velvet. This is number 189, and this is a different formula from the standard Dior Quints that have come out for the last 2 years. I want to be careful when I say standard because there has been different formulas that Dior has played around with depending on the collections that have come out. Last summer there was the Mirage, I forget what the other Quint was, but I do remember Mirage. And that was like a, what's the word I'm looking for? It had almost like a highlighting, kind of shimmery, ethereal effect, or at least it was supposed to. I didn't particularly love that formula. I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite. The reformulation with the pine oil and the aloe that was put into effect in I think it was 2020, was a game changer for me in regards to Dior. And I have picked up every single eyeshadow Quint since then. So since my channel started a little over 2 years ago, I've bought every Dior Quint. So I have them all and I'm looking at them. And actually, I'll show you the tray. Okay, this is the tray of Dior. So I have every Dior Quint and Trio, actually, that has come out since March 2020. So a little over 2 years. And so I did pick up all of the Velvet Quints. There are 5. I was going to do all 5 and then compare them to all of these. And I realized if I did that, honestly, the video, I don't even know how I would get it under an hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do each new Quint and I'm going to show you the corresponding Quints that have come out in the last 2 years, corresponding as in same color story-ish. So this one, Blue Velvet, will be obviously blues. And we'll talk a little bit about the formula. In this video, I'll focus more on that because it's the first one of the series. And in the other ones, I will have already talked about this formula, but I do want to stress that I am a huge collector of Dior. I really do enjoy their products. I think they've done a great job, especially on the eyeshadows. So when these velvets came out, I was excited and I was also concerned. I'll explain why. So first of all, I am wearing blue velvet because if you're gonna review a product named Blue Velvet, I mean, you gotta pull out your blue velvet. Couple things about the packaging, right? Okay, so first you have this, and let me grab, where is the, here we go. The actual paper. It has this matte velvet kind of look to the packaging, which is different than the usual Dior paper, which is shinier. However, I want to mention that I also picked up the summer collection from Dior, the Riviera and the Bear Dare. I will double check that on my phone. But that one, the Bear Dare, was literal. It was long story. It just got to me. But the point is, the packaging is the same. It has that same velvet matte kind of packaging. And I don't remember them saying that the summer collection was a different formula. So that's kind of interesting to me. So I'm going to have to go through and look and see if the ingredients are different. I will say that I checked the ingredients on this one. This is the Blue Velvet. It does have talc. It has mica. There is zinc stearate. I don't really know what that is. There's fruit oil. There is pine oil. There is aloe. So, and there's also safflower seed oil in here. So I will go back and look to see if I can find out how different the ingredients are from what I've been using as what I would consider the standard ingredients over the last 2 years. If I look at the Bayard there, that's not right, but I'll look it up in a minute. It looks to me that the ingredients are very similar. There's safflower seed oil, there's aloe, there's mica, there's talc, there's the zinc. I'm looking to see, yeah, it has pine oil. So the ingredients look very, very similar, if not exact, because I haven't done an exact by exact. I haven't gone and done a side-by-side comparison. But again, this is the summer collection. This is the velvet collection. And the ingredients, at least at first blush, look the same. So either they changed the formula for the summer collection and just didn't mention that, or it's the same formula that existed before, or at least very close to it. So let's make sure we have the pronunciation for just a minute. I know we're not talking about the summer today, but I just want to make sure that I'm pronouncing it right.
Bayadère.
Bayadère. It's close, somewhat close. So I think that's interesting to note, that's all, that the Riviera collection does seem to have the same ingredients, and it definitely has the same sort of mattified packaging. I have the blue velvet on already because today I wanted to talk about comparisons and I want to talk about the formula, and I didn't do a particularly difficult look. So I will show it to you on my eyes. I'm going to swatch all of these for you, obviously, so you can see the swatch comparisons. It's blue, but I would say it almost has a periwinkle and a little bit of like lavender plum kind of thing going on. It's not traditionally blue. If you see my shirt, this is a navy, deep navy blue velvet. That is not what this is. This shade here is even like dusty, denim-y. And I'm going to show it to you in comparison to the Chanel pencil, the blue jean, because that was one of my favorites back in the day, and they brought that back. And I know having Chanel on a Dior video is like, but I have to show you because the shades are similar in hue, and I think that's very interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and swatch this one. Formula. The formula is not super smooth. It's not rough by any means, but I wouldn't say it's silky. Okay, so we're just talking about the blue velvet today. So, you know, maybe different Quints have different feel. That's possible. Some of the shades are smoother than others. What I call periwinkle, which I think is like the color of the year, or maybe that was last year, but anyway, is very smooth and silky. The dusty blue gray, which is actually the color of my dining room, this one is a beautiful matte, and it is very silky. The more traditional, what I would call Wedgwood blue, is also silky. And I'm swatching these like 2 to 3 times so you can really see the colors. But the silver that I did up front, which is a satiny shade, is not as silky as the other shades. The middle shade, which is more of a satin as well, has more of a plum, like a plum lavender kind of look. So if you're somebody who's like, well, I don't like blue, like I don't like a navy or a traditional bright blue, this is not that. This is dusty, purpley, lavendery, grayish blues. And this shade's not even blue. I'd call it either a deep lavender or a light plum. So I think that this is more flexible than just a blue palette. I think this gray can certainly light up the look. And if you put this gray with this deep, dusty, grayish blue, you're gonna get a much more grayish look on the eye. If you mix in this purple and you just use, let's say, this purple and the gray, you're gonna definitely get more of the lavender. This periwinkle shade, again, is got a purple undertone to it, a lavender undertone to it. So I would not say it's traditional navy blue, bright blue. It's a cooler, grayer, purpley blue quint. I really like it. I think it looks beautiful on the eye. I love these types of shades. I did a look like this for, what was it? Oh my goodness. It was the series that I did with Lexi and Jen and others. Oh my goodness. Where you tried to do like looks from other people. And one week we did, come up with a flower as your inspiration, and I chose hydrangeas. And this was the look that I did. I think I used BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin, possibly. I'm not exactly sure. But the point is, that is the feel to this. Like, I don't think this is a overwhelming blue quint. Is it neutral? No. I mean, if you're thinking of neutral as in browns, and a lot of people do, no, it's not that. But I don't think it's at all outlandish. And I think it absolutely, what I tried to do today was like an everyday look that you would wear, or most of us could wear, to work, or out at night to dinner, or just, running to the grocery store because you feel like you want to wear some makeup. Why not? I don't think this is too much for any of that. And it's certainly not the 80s blue that some of us that are older remember. It's not that at all. I do want to show you though the Chanel, I mentioned these pencils a while back. This is Blue Jean. These are the Precision Eye Definer crayons. These aren't the gel liners, the waterproof ones that I love, and I have every shade of those. These are really, really good though. They're easy to blend out, and they do stay on, I promise you. They stay on all day. But I picked up, I got the new shade, which is Berry, Blue Jean, Maroon Teak, and there's another shade. Oh, a Black Jade. There's a couple other shades that they have, including a gray, which looks gorgeous. And I'll pick them all up eventually. But this shade was available many, many years ago. And if you look at it, it's very similar, I think you would agree, in tone to the deepest shade and the second deepest shade in this quint. So it just goes beautifully with it. If you decided that you wanted to enhance a look or you wanted to use a liner, it's stunning. This shade, Blue Jean, was one of my favorite shades, literally my favorite liner back in the day. So I am absolutely drawn to this quint because it's got that dusty, denim-y, grayish, purplish kind of blue, which I think is beautiful. In regards to formula, I don't notice a huge difference between this and, quote, the standard formula. I do notice that the gray and the purple, which are satin shades, don't feel as rich. They don't feel as smooth. They might not feel as pigmented, but they don't feel dry. They feel good. They feel very, very similar. So I think the test is going to be me wearing these just for a while. And so I'm going to have to give you an update in a couple of weeks. I could sit here and say, oh, it's totally different, or oh, it's totally the same based on one day's knowledge, but I don't think that's fair to Dior, and I don't think that's fair to all of you. Because the other formula I wore for quite some time before I was like, yes, this is my favorite of all time. So what I don't want to do is say, oh, this is totally different, or it's totally the same, without doing more in-depth research. But I did want you to see the shades and how beautiful it looks on the eye. Before this video is over, I'm going to go in with a couple of the shades and change the look a little bit so you can see how they work in action. So I went through all my Dior quints from the last few years. So I'm telling you guys, everything that was released in the US, and even some things that technically weren't released in the US, like the poncho versus the tribal, I think it is. I have both of those. I went through every one that's been released since March 2020. And there are only 3 others that have a blue color story. There are many that have purple. So if you want me to show these, this one, like Blue Jean, in comparison with the purples, I can do that. I could do it on Instagram, or I could do it here on YouTube. I could do a short or a reel on Instagram or whatever. But if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm just heading over to Nordstrom really quickly, because what I want to do, because I don't have the other Quints in front of me, I want to just look really quickly at the other shades. Okay, so we have Blue Velvet, Nude Dentelle, Coral Paisley, Rosa Mutabilis, and Red Tartan. So there's no purple. That's what I thought, but I always like to double check before I say something, because sometimes I don't get enough sleep and I say, thanks. And today's no exception. So purple. So I'm comparing this one just to the other blue Diors that have come out in the last 2 years. 2 years. If you want to see it next to the purples, there's a lot more purples. Tons of purple. Tons and tons of purple in Dior. I'm also going to pull out one Tom Ford, which I think might have some similarities, just for the purposes of taking a look at it. So first I want to show you the packaging. As I've indicated, this is a matte, velvety matte. This is a shiny, satiny, I got fingerprints all over it kind of cover. And that's the difference between the packaging. Everything else looks the same. On the back, the writing is the same. It's written out the same way. Still has the 6-month shelf life, which I've kept these way longer than that because it's been 2 years since I picked up the first ones. It's the net weight is 0.24 ounces and 7 grams. The holiday one, I'm looking at a holiday one, which is Black Knight. I pulled it out because there's a little bit of similarity because there's a gray in there. So I was like, I should pull it out. That one had 4 grams and 14 ounces. Looking at the other standard ones, Denim has 7 grams, 24 ounces. So it's the same as this new Velvet. And then Black Bow has 7 grams, 0.24 ounces. So those are the only other Quints in Dior that have a bluish or grayish color story. That was it. So I find it interesting because, you know, I do hear a lot of people like, well, you know, blue, a lot of people don't wear blue, or blue isn't that popular. But Blue Velvet is the one that everyone seems to be interested in seeing, at least from what I've heard from feedback from all of you, because I've gotten lots of DMs about it. And I know A Merch Beauty, Aileen over at A Merch Beauty has videos up, and I know she has the Blue Velvet up as well. Hopefully I can remember to link to it. She, again, was inundated with, I want to see the blue one first. So there's obviously a lot of interest in these shades and blues, yet Dior hasn't come out with very many at all. So, just saying. So let's compare it to the one that I think is the most direct comparison, which is Denim. So there's Denim. And again, this is the same weight, same 6 months. As you can see, Denim definitely has more of a warmer and I'd say greener look than Blue Velvet. So we're gonna swatch it right next to it. Now, when I swatch the Denim, this is just me, I feel like it's smoother, okay? Like on my finger, it feels smoother. It feels richer, more pigmented. However, I don't really notice a difference on my eyes. To be honest, guys, when I put it on my eyes, I wasn't like, oh, that feels totally different. So it could be just the way it swatches, but I feel like it swatches and it's smoother to the finger. Like this, it just feels like it. Now, I also have to say, this is supposed to be, I think, more of a velvet look, right? So even though all the shades in there aren't a velvet matte, because the purple and the gray are definitely more satiny, I think it's supposed to be a velvet look. So that might mean that it's not as shimmery and therefore not as impactful in a swatch. So I want to be careful what I'm comparing, but like I said, I'll try to get the ingredients for the old ones versus these new velvets and see, you know, how they've changed. Because they definitely still have pine oil in them, and they definitely still have the aloe in them. At least they're listed as ingredients. So, you know, that's still there. Denim is one of my favorite Quints of all time. I love this Quint. I just think it's a great Quint. Very pigmented, really beautiful. And you can really change the look depending on how you use the gold that's in there. But you can see how pigmented it is. I mean, especially this shade. This is a satin and it's super pigmented. But I feel like this is more pigment, more depth than these. Now, I also think, again, this is supposed to be a velvet, right? So if you're imparting a velvet look, when I think of velvet, it's soft, it's a little bit matted, it's a little bit subdued. It's not super shiny or super shimmery or over the top pigmented. That's not what a velvet is. So I think it's supposed to be like this. We'll get into it when we swatch all of the velvets and see if maybe like some are, well, we'll just have to see. But I think just doing this one, compared to denim, I feel like the denim is more pigmented and richer in feel. Again though, this definitely has a velvet look, a velveteen kind of look to it. This is much cooler in my opinion, and it has more of a gray purple, and this has almost more of a teal. This shade in the middle definitely has that true like deep blue, whereas this deep blue looks much more gray. I'm sure you can see that. This definitely looks like a teal to me. And then you've got the gold, you've got like a greenish shade, and then this bright azure kind of blue. So I think there's, if you're looking to see, like you have denim and you're like, should I pick up blue velvet because you love blues like I do? They are definitely different. They are different quints. They're going to give you different looks. Now, let's pull out the only other two color stories that Dior's come out with in the last 2 years that even have a similarity to a blue-gray-ish kind of look. And like I said, I did not pull out the purples, so just putting that out there. If you want the purples, I can do comparisons. So this is Black Bow, and then we have Black Knight. And Black Bow and Black Knight are similar color stories. Black Knight, though, has more of a blue purple, which is going to look a little bit more like blue velvet, and I'll show you in a minute. But these are the Black Bow and Black Knight. So if you look at Black Knight next to blue velvet, I think you can see there's actually a similar color story here going on, but Black Knight is a much deeper, darker version of it. I would also say Black Knight is not one of my favorite quints from Dior, because for some reason this particular quint kind of does meld into each other. I'll show you when I swatch. All right, so the formula in this one is interesting. Let's see if I can do it. All right, let's do it here. Okay, I know how I'll do this. All right, so if we were to take corresponding shades, or as close as I could possibly get, because they're not exact in any way. Let's do it that way. What you'll see is these are, again, more pigmented. Now, I think part of that is because I only really need to do one swatch with these. I think that's because this is supposed to be a blue velvet kind of formula, so I don't think you're supposed to have like that softer velveteen kind of look. I think these are supposed to be more impactful. The black shade in Black Knight is a little weaker than the other. Let's take the gray that's in here and match it up with the gray. The gray that's in Black Knight is beautiful. The one that's in Black Bow is beautiful as well. And let's take the purple shade. Okay, so this is Black Knight, and this is the new one. This is blue velvet. So blue velvet, denim, Black Knight. I think you can see that the color stories are actually more similar in Black Knight and blue velvet than blue velvet and denim, which I think is kind of interesting, because denim technically is a blue quint, whereas Black Knight is not. But I actually think Black Knight and blue velvet have more in common. Now, the purple, obviously, in Black Knight is much grayer, much deeper. This is more of like a lavendery plum. The blues are darker, the grays, they have more of that black undertone, where these have more of a purple or gray undertone. But I think you can see what I mean by the color story. And again, they're more pigmented. Now, the Black Knight kind of runs into each other, so they get a little bit muddy, and I'm not exactly sure why, but they do. So it's not my favorite. I still love the shades in it and use it when I'm looking for like an intense look. So my camera cut me off, but I do think that these two color stories are actually very similar in nature. But I think the Black Knight is not as, I don't know, I think these shades are gorgeous, but when you blend them on the eyes, sometimes they can blend a little bit too much together. The new Blue Velvet, I didn't get that happening. Okay, so I wiped off the blue jean, Chanel, so that I could show it to you next to a black bow. Now, black bow is going to be very different, I think, than this new Blue Velvet, but we're going to match up shades here as well. So here is the purple shade in black bow. It has a beautiful white shade that doesn't exist. I'll put it here. Got this gorgeous gray. And that's probably the lightest. That has a lot of shimmer to it. Black bow is, like, my opinion, one of the best that Dior did, but it's a deep black. And then this silver that's in here, I mean, there's no point in swatching it more than once. You just don't need to. Okay, so here's the new Blue Velvet. Here's denim. Here's Black Knight. Here's black bow. Do you see how black bow, again, and again, the colors are extremely pigmented in black bow, but black bow, I'm sorry, black bow and Black Knight. These three are actually more in line than I would say Blue Velvet is with denim. There's an intensity of black bow that doesn't really exist in Blue Velvet, and the black bow, of course, has a grayer, blacker color story because that's what it's called. But the color stories are similar because it's a grayish, purplish color story, and it's got blue in it. And so I look at the Blue Velvet as a gorgeous, grayish blue, lavender plum kind of quint, which I know is, you know, kind of all over the place because you're like, well, those are blue shades. And they are. But again, you know, the color spectrum, right? You can have a very reddish blue, a purplish blue, a yellowish blue, which get towards, you know, more of these shades and the teals. You can have these grayish, purplish blues that I favor. I like these types of shades. The problem with these types of shades is they can get muddy if you're not careful and you're not like distinct. But I think actually Dior did a good job with the velvets. It's not as intense and not as nearly as intense as the black bow or the Black Knight. And it doesn't have any of the sparkle and shimmer that those have, or denim. But again, it's called a velvet, I think, for a reason. And I think it's supposed to have a velvety kind of look, which it does on the eye. So let me wipe this off just really quickly. I won't wash it off. I'll just wipe it off with a microfiber towel, because I want you to see, this is what I do, like when I'm filming, I just wipe it off and then later on I go wash it off with makeup remover. But it is a good indicator of like how things stain. There's the black remnants of Black Knight, remnants of the new, remnants of black bow, and remnants of denim. I think you can see that the velvets, the Blue Velvet does seem a little lighter, but it's still very pigmented. So it's not like these are not pigmented, guys. I think it just has a different kind of finish. I think it has a velvety finish. So let me bring you in a little bit, and I want to show you how I can deepen up this look a little bit. Okay, so first of all, let's take a smaller brush. This is an Angie Hot and Flashy 502. Yeah, 502. And so I want to show you, so this shade here is like the grayish, darkish blue. This is like almost like, you know, again, a gray, Wedgwood blue. This is like a periwinkle. This is a silvery blue, and this is very much, in my opinion, a plum or a lavender. So let's take the Wedgwood blue, which is this, you know, beautiful grayish blue. And it, like I said, it is pigmented, so you wanna take a little bit off your brush. But if I want to deepen up this look, make it more of a nighttime thing. For me, nighttime. That alone, look at how much pigment that gives you. Now if I took, let's say, the deepest shade and did the same thing and just went into this outer corner, I think you can see this, although velvety in nature, does not mean that it isn't intense, pigmented, and stunning. It's just velvety. So it definitely is buildable. You can have an everyday light look with it. You can build it up to this more dramatic look. The shades in here are all beautiful. They do lean cool, absolutely. Grayish, periwinkle plums. I cannot wait to play around with it to use more of the plum shade in the middle and see how that interacts with the other shades. The gray silver shade in here is gorgeous, but none of it is sparkly, none of it is shimmery. It's that velvety texture, even for the shades that are satin. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully the comparisons helped. I showed you the Chanel liner. I also want to show you really quickly the Tom Ford. So this Tom Ford was moss agate. So it is, you know, more of that greeny blue shades, but that's the only other one that, like, I was thinking about, like, oh, it could be close, but again, I think this is more like denim. And I did do comparisons with this and denim like quite some time ago. So I'm gonna start looking through my collection at all my blue quads and quints across the board, outside of Dior, which was the first step. And I have some in the back of my mind that I think will be similar. I'm not sure they're gonna be, but I have some things in mind. So let me know if there are particular, you know, quints, quads, palettes that you'd like me to compare them with. And if I have them, I will do that. And also let me know if you want me to do the purples, because I can do something to show you those purpley gray quints that Dior has done in comparison to this. Because again, I think this blue velvet is more of a gray purple blue than a true blue. And next to denim, I think it's really a different color story. All in all, my final thoughts at this point, I think it's beautiful. I really like this look. I like this velvet, roots are terrible, I gotta get those fixed. The velvet matte look, all over look, I think is stunning. And I think if it's done well, can be just as gorgeous, just as stunning as a sparkly, you know, shimmery kind of thing, or duochrome. I don't think matte or velvet means boring. I think it just means a velvety matte look. And like the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, the velvets, they're stunning, they're beautiful, but they have that velvet softness to them. That's what corresponds to this in my mind. That's how I think of them. So I'm thrilled with the blue velvet. Happy to have it, and I'll start doing, like I said, I'll do one for every color story, and I'll compare them to the last 2 years of Dior in the same color story. Last but not least, giveaway. So I am gonna do a giveaway of a blue velvet. This is the blue velvet quint that I just used today. And this will be the one that I keep, but I will have one, a new one to give away to all of you guys. So all you have to do is comment below, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And if you're subscribed to my channel and you comment below, you will be entered in the giveaway. This should go up on the 23rd, which is Saturday, April 23rd. And I'll give everybody a week to enter. So basically I'm trying to think of what day it is. It'll come to me, I'll put it in the description box below. But it'll be right before I go away on my trip, so you won't get it until mid-May. But anyway, I just wanted to do this surprise little giveaway to say thanks to everyone. And it's such a beautiful quint. I was like, oh, I definitely have to do one to give away, get one to give away. So I think that's it. I think that's it today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.